Welcome to day 5 of 12 Days of Christmas. Today we are making this really cute eye mask. This is a great scrap busting project. I was inspired by one that I saw on Pinterest. This is a little bit different. I will leave everything that you need down in the description box below. Let's get into the video. I saw these sleeping masks and I thought that they would be a really great gift. This is what they look like. Again, I found these on Pinterest. I don't know if I'll be doing the beading, but I found a pattern for a kitty shaped eye mask, and I will be making one for myself and I will be making one for somebody else. I currently have a sleeping mask that is like too tight around my head. It has Velcro, but it hurts my head still. So we're gonna be measuring so that it's the perfect fit around your head. The things that you are going to need is a pattern of some kind. You could make your own or you could purchase one. I think this is a free pattern. I'll try to find it. I've had this in my pattern stash for a really, really long time. So I will see what I can do in the description box below. You're going to need some batting. I've had this batting since last year. I used it to make a quilt for my dad. Fabric scissors, pins, some fabric. This is a great scrap busting project. I used this fabric for not only where I made my bridesmaids gifts, but I also used it in a recent 12 Days of Christmas when we made the oven mitts. So you'll need fabric. This is cotton. And then I'm wanting to use a like silky lining. This is fabric from my rehearsal dinner dress, but this fabric will go like touching you eyes. So it'll be nice and soft. And then you're going to need some elastic. I bought a bunch of these fold over elastics that came like this on Amazon, so I'll link those below as well. They're great for small projects. I was using them when I was making underwear, and it's not enough. Not enough for an underwear project, but it's going to be the perfect amount for our eye mask project. I'm also going to use some lace for the little kitty. Let's get started. Just like all the other patterns we've done, I'm going to cut this one out. I love that it shows you what you need to cut. I'm not gonna do any interfacing, but you are more than welcome to. Our pattern is cut out. I've pressed my fabric with an iron. It's not perfect, but it's better than what it was before. I'm going to cut this out. Last time we used a rotary cutter for our sewing project, and you could totally do that today, but I wanted to show you that you don't have to have fancy tools to do a really cute project. I'm going to use my fabric scissors to cut this out. These notches on either side of the pattern are actually for where our elastic goes. So I'm actually going to cut right into those notches. And then I'm going to take the pins out. I'm going to do the exact same thing with our exterior fabric. I have my batting doubled over, and we are going to cut the same pattern out of batting. I folded it over so I can cut 2 at one time, but you can obviously cut 1 at a time if you don't feel comfortable cutting 2. Don't stab yourself with a pin because it really freaking hurts. The last thing I want to do is cut out some lace. This is a stretch lace. I just have this in my stash also from making underwear. I want to have the scalloped edge, like probably right at the notches, I think is a good place for it. And I'm just doing the same exact thing, pinning and cutting it out. This time though, I am going to put a pin in the center because it doesn't go all the way down here. So we want to make sure that it is secure while we are cutting it out. I'm going to go to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew the lace overlay on. I'm going to sew it around the ears and then also into the lace so that it lays flat. I'm just gonna throw a couple pins in it. Let's go sew this. have the lace sewn on. I'm going to take the elastic and measure out 11 inches. That's what the pattern calls for, but I think I'm going to do 12 and a half. I measured it on my head and it just seemed like 12 and a half inches fit my head better. I clearly have a large head. So we measured out the desired length and then I'm going to cut it at that length. Where we cut the notches in the fabric on either side is where we're going to put our elastic at. We're going to tack it down. I'm going to do the shiny side facing down. I'm going to stick a pin in it. And you'll want to go to the sewing machine and tack down right here. I have my elastic sewn on. Now we're going to make our fabric sandwich. So first we're going to take one batting. We're going to put the exterior right on top facing upwards. And then I'm going to do the lining, good side, so the more shiny side to good side of exterior. And then more batting on top. Now we're gonna pin this together. The more pins that you use, the easier time you will have sewing this, especially because it is pretty bulky, so you'll want to go slow at the sewing machine. I'm going to sew all the way around, leaving this section open. Again, you want to go slow when you're sewing because this is bulky, so it can get away from you really easily. Take your time with this project. I'm going to go sew this and show you what it looks like once it's sewn. Here's our fabric sandwich. I'm going to do some trimming of the seam allowance. I'm going to clip the ears. We're going to cut to the stitches, but not through them. I'm just going to do a little bit of trimming, especially around the corners. And then around the curves, we're just going to clip. Let's turn this right sides out. I'm using a small crochet needle to just poke out my corners. You want to be careful with this that you don't pierce through the fabric, so use something that isn't sharp. I'm going to use an invisible stitch to sew this hole closed. I have threaded my needle and now I'm going to do an invisible stitch on the top of our project. I'm first going to start by inserting the needle through the inside of the hole and then out through the outside. This one I'm starting on the exterior. I'm gonna turn it around because it'll be easier for me to sew. I'm stuffing the tail in and then I'm going to fold over the raw edge of the lining and the exterior. I'm going to place my needle through, in and out of the lining fabric. Pull through. Then I'm going to take a stitch just a little bit further back from where the needle last came out of, and I'm going to do the same exact thing on the exterior fabric. This is a little difficult since this is kind of like stuffed. To tie off your thread, you're going to pull up a loop, insert your needle through the loop, pull the loop tight. Now you have another loop, and then you're going to put the needle back through that loop and pull it tight. And that makes a knot. And then I'm going to insert my needle through the seam and out through the other side of the fabric. Pull tight, trim. And you have an invisible stitch. Here's how the eye mask turned out. It's absolutely stunning. It fits my head so well. I'm glad that I did 12.5 inches. Isn't it cute? I just take a little night-night right now. This is the perfect gift to go with other things. You could make some scrunchies to match. You could do a little hot cocoa packet in there, or maybe even make some brownie mix that you can gift to them so that they can make some homemade brownies. And even a blanket would be really nice to go with this, and do like a little basket. I think that would be a perfect gift, and especially for a mom or a grandma. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of 12 Days of Christmas. If you missed yesterday's video, don't forget to check it out. And tomorrow we will be doing a home decor DIY. So don't forget to subscribe, share this video with a friend, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Be a kitty while I sleep, which who doesn't want to be a kitty when they sleep? Come on.